This is the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson. What do you do if you are a small landlocked country and your fellow countries that you trade with and do a substantial amount of business with decide to kick you out of the only group in town? Well, if that would be you, then you would be Paraguay. The MESCOR meeting, or MESCOR round, which is a group of countries in South America that actively work with each other on trade issues, has decided to kick out Paraguay. Now, the reason is fairly simple and straightforward. Paraguay's Senate impeached the president, Fernando Lugo, and removed him from power. Of course, the impeachment process only lasted a couple days, and the other countries are saying, well, this is obviously a coup. Paraguay is saying it's not a coup. This is perfectly legal. The other countries are saying, get out. So now this landlocked country, which is Paraguay, with really no place to go, no water or any other major resource other than the air above them to use for trade purposes and business purposes, is now cut off from its neighbors. Now, MESCOR, and I know I'm not pronouncing this right. Let me try that again. MESCOR said that the constitutional coup and suspended Paraguayan government was something that eliminated Paraguay effectively as a member. Now, the Paraguayan officials are trying to figure out some way around this mess at this particular point. And efforts to have Paraguay suspended from the Organization of American States failed when the OAS, also known as the Organization of American States, argued it will give the Paraguayan government time to get a new president elected. So this is it's not a minor blip. It's not a minor problem for Paraguay. It's a short-term, major problem for Paraguay. If they had gotten kicked out of the OAS, and I could certainly see this would be a very, very long-term problem for foreign direct investment in Paraguay. I think it's a very short-term problem, but one that is very, very difficult to maneuver around. You've got these other countries surrounding Paraguay, and nothing really goes in or out on the ground without these other countries participating. How much more of a stranglehold the country's going to put on Paraguay is still up in the air. But I would suspect it's going to only increase since, obviously, the former president got along pretty well with his neighbors, with his neighboring politicians. And they're going to do whatever they can to put pressure on the new Paraguayan government, at least short term, to reverse this impeachment. Now, many other analysts that deal specifically with Latin America can agree on the causes of all these problems, and particularly with the MESCOR issue as far as kicking out Paraguay. And many people just believe that it's just a gesture, kind of a tipping of the hat, if you will, to another politician. It may be, it may not be. It may be a model for other countries that are landlocked or are very dependent on another country who decide to change their governments. And this could be a problem for many other smaller nations, even if they have elections in their democracies rooted in elections every 4 to 6 years or so. What if their trading partners decide, well, we don't like the election process, we're not going to recognize the process of a power change, we like the other guy, let's make things difficult financially. This could be a model, and that's what I'm concerned about. And I hope it is a short-term issue with Paraguay and its neighbors, which I think it could be if the president is restored, which is not going to happen at this point because there's too much water under that bridge. And if he is not, this will be something that you probably will see again and again in other continents where some countries are landlocked and very dependent on its neighbors. You may see this in Africa. You almost certainly see this again in South America. You may see this in parts of Asia. I just don't think this is going to be a long-term problem for Paraguay overall because of other countries still willing to work with them, and there always is air transportation. Where you have the major problem is on the ground, and hopefully the financial markets will hold up. However, this is a really major blow to Paraguay within its own community short term. But like I said, my biggest concern is this a model? Is this going to be something that other countries are going to use, no matter how the power at the helm of that country came to be? If they don't like them, are they going to make things difficult? That's the question that this whole issue with Paraguay has now put forward for everybody to ponder. Now, one last thing. The MIRSCOR founding members, just so you know who they are Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Venezuela. And Venezuela has only been an associate member since 2008 and became a full member only in July of this year. Now, Bolivia and Chile are associate members, and Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru want to join. Now, the associate members who are on the outside, sort of on the outside, and people who are totally on the outside, are they going to be pressured to not do business with Paraguay? How's that going to shake out? You see, this could be a very, very difficult thing. Even if Paraguay has elections tomorrow and they elect the greatest person who ever held office there, if the MIRSCOR countries want to make things difficult because they don't like the process of how this new person became the leader, then they may put pressure on these other countries to not deal with them either. This is why it could be a long-term problem. I believe it would be a short-term problem overall because of other outside forces. But like I said, this is something you should look at very closely as a model for how to deal with landlocked countries if you're a surrounding state who's not particularly happy with the current government and how it came to be. This has been the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson.